My name is Wojtek Wojcicki. I'm the CEO of NGEx. NGEx is a Lundin Group explorer developer with two big copper-gold porphyries in Chile and just across the border in Argentina. We're listed in Toronto and in NASDAQ Stockholm, and our current market cap is about 250 million Canadian. So as you heard from Rick, the demand story for copper is strong. I think over the next couple of years, green energy, all of the things people have been talking about are going to really drive a strong demand picture for copper. And then a really important part of the copper story is the lack of new projects available for development. So there's really very, very few, and even fewer that are held by junior exploration companies like us. So we have two key assets, two large copper-gold deposits located in South America. We're about 140 kilometers southeast of Copiapó. Two projects, Los Helados, located in Chile, and Jose Maria, located 10 kilometers away just across the border into Argentina. 3 years ago, we spun out our Filo del Sol project, which was another one of our grassroots discoveries located in that same district. It's about 15 kilometers from our Jose Maria project. Filo is now a separate, independently managed and traded company that's got a market cap of around $200 million. That company was spun out to our shareholders, so we've made our shareholders a lot of money through these spinouts. Now we're looking at doing that again, and we're looking at splitting NGEx into a company that's focused on developing our Jose Maria project, taking it through feasibility, which we're working on right now, and then on into development and ultimately production. And then we're going to spin out an exploration company that holds our Los Helados project and several of our earlier stage exploration projects. Our shareholders are going to receive 1 share of the Explorco for every 2 shares of NGEx that they hold. Completion of that spin out is expected in early July. So we're in the final stages of it. The shareholder vote is on June 19th, and we expect to be up and trading a few weeks after that. So now I want to talk about our Jose Maria project, which is the most advanced project in NGEx. We completed a pre-feasibility study at the end of 2018, and this is the project that we're going to have in the separate vehicle moving it towards development. So the probable reserves on this project are 6.5 billion pounds of copper, 6.5 million ounces of gold, and significant amount of silver. So these are copper-gold projects. You can see in the picture there, this is a great configuration for open pit mining. We're going to have our waste dumps off to the side, to the right-hand side. This is a nice compact site. Our tailings facility is just behind the hill, and our plant site is just off to the left in a nice big open flat area. The PFS that we completed in December showed strong economics at $3 copper. So we're looking at a 2 billion NPV and about a 19% IRR, and equally importantly, about a 3.5-year payback period, which is excellent for a project of this size and scale. Life of mine copper and gold production is significant. We're looking at around 125,000 tons of copper per year, 230,000 ounces of gold. The economics of this project are driven by the first 3 years, where we're producing around 170,000 tons of copper and over 350,000 ounces of gold. And that's what drives that short payback period. Metallurgy is good. We produce a nice, clean, gold and silver-rich copper concentrate. Our plan for the next couple of years is to push this project through feasibility and then ultimately into development and construction. We've seen a number of recent transactions, and Rick highlighted a couple of them in the previous presentation, where you're starting to see that shortage of development stage projects reflected in the prices that people are paying in acquisitions. So QB2 is a tech project in Chile, where they were able to bring in Sumitomo as a 30% partner, and Sumitomo paid around $1.2 billion for a 30% interest, and that was roughly 1 times NAV. So NGEx currently trades at 0.1 to 0.15 times NAV, and what we're hoping is that as we move through the feasibility study, as we start to move ahead on our permits, and as we start to line up project finance, that we're going to trade much closer to that 1 times NAV that we see for some of the more advanced projects that have their permits in place. So that's the strategy for the next few years. We're in the middle of our feasibility study right now. We completed a lot of the field work over the South American summer. We just kicked off the engineering portion of that study in the last couple of weeks. We're working on the environmental impact study, and the plan would be to complete the feasibility study early in Q1 2020, submit our environmental impact study, and initiate the permitting process about a year from now, so a few months after we submit the feasibility study. Now I want to touch on our SpinCo and our Los Helados project. This is significantly larger than Jose Maria. It's a large indicated resource with significant exploration upside. It's a little bit more of a complicated project than Jose Maria, but it's got one big advantage, and that is that it's only 10 kilometers from a large operating mine that's owned by our 40% Japanese partners. So our strategy here, really for Los Helados, is to probably reach an agreement with our partners, and ultimately I think we see Los Helados being processed through the Caserones mine. The owners of the Caserones mine recently launched a process to sell an interest in that project, and we believe that also puts Los Helados into play. We've got a repeatable business model at NGEx. We've been really successful on the exploration side. Our team is responsible for the discovery of Los Helados, which is either the third or fourth, depending on how you're counting, largest copper discovery made in the last 10 years. It sits just after Pampa Escondida, which is an Escondida camp discovery made by BHP, and the Kamoa-Kakula discoveries made by Ivanhoe. But we're number 3 behind that. Our basic business model is to find good projects, make them better. That's what we've done with Filo, Jose Maria, and Los Helados, and then ultimately find a way to monetize that project and make money for our shareholders. So a good example of us being able to do that was our spin-out of Filo Mining 3 years ago, which has created well over $200 million worth of value for the NGEx shareholders. We're hopeful that we're going to be able to do that again with the spin-out of our exploration assets and the separation of the company into a Jose Maria-focused vehicle and an ExploreCo. And we're really going to be building on that strong discovery record that I just mentioned. So altogether, you look at the discovery rate that we've had, the pounds of copper, the ounces of gold that we found over the last 10 years, and it's a track record that in South America is second to none. And that's that. Thank you.